This video is sponsored by OneFootball. OneFootball's app makes it easy to keep up to date with transfer news, scores and stats all in the one place. To download the OneFootball app, click the link in the description. The app is free.
Hello, we are live on Facebook to discuss the news that broke about, half an hour ago, that the capacity for the new Bramley-Moore Stadium is going to be 52,000 with the ability to go up to 62,000. First of all, can everyone who's watching let me know in the comments if you can hear us, first of all?
That'd be nice.
You can. I think you can. And also, we want your comments, so let us know your feelings on this. Let us know how you feel about Everton announcing 52,000. So I want you. I've got the comments here, and I want to know your opinions. Klaus says hi from Denmark. Hi back to you. But let me know your thoughts. Baz, what are your thoughts? What are your thoughts on Everton announcing 52,000?
Yeah, but listen, the initial thing is disappointment just at the number, but because the number's the first thing you hear, obviously. We're still without any kind of images. We don't know what it'll look like. But, like we said on the reaction video, there's the opportunity of future-proofing in there. They're going to future-proof two of the stands with rails sitting. And if them laws change, which there's a lot of clubs pushing for them to change now, and I think they will, then it means our capacity on day one might actually be closer to 57, 58,000 rather than 52. And then we've got the ability to then go to 62 should demand, should the demand be there.
Klaus says 52 seems small. Christopher Duncan says good starting point, but it can increase. Hayden says 52 is great. Okay. Adrian says 52k and the ability to rise over 60 is good. Pip says 52 is a good starting point as long as we can increase it. Billy says, I am happy. Let's not forget we are taking a big leap to make this move away. So let's enjoy the positives, news, and make the next leap once we get there. Great news. So straight away, I mean, it's not like Facebook to be positive, but people on Facebook seem very positive.
Roger Armstrong from Everton Business Matters says it's a betrayal of the fans.
Okay.
By the board. He said they've got no faith in us, just seeing his tweet then. I think that's probably a little bit knee-jerky, if I'm honest. I accept it's disappointing. I'm disappointed because I thought realistically, as much as above 60 sounds great, I thought realistically it'd be 55 with hopefully the opportunity to go above that. And we've gone even under that.
See,
so the initial thing is...
For me, I suppose it is all about the design. And it's all right saying, let's have 55. But a design... Listen, I'm no architect, clearly. But who's to say that the design has to be 52 to get it to... Do you know what I mean? You can't just say, and I'm being devil's advocate here, you can't just say, well, you can have any number you want, and that any number will be able to increase to another number.
Yeah.
Surely there's constraints on how big you can create something from a starting point.
I think where we are, look, we could have gone to where was it? We were going Croxteth, right?
Croxteth, yeah.
Croxteth it could have been at the, what was it called? Stonecross area, right? And we may potentially we could have put a 70,000 seater stadium up there. There was a big pot of land, nothing on it. Potentially the stadium could be built now when this started, or certainly up, right? With 70,000 people there, and people would have been going, yeah, look at the size of us compared to other teams. However, we all from day one wanted Bramley-Moore. We all wanted to be on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey, close to the city. There's obviously, we've been down there ourselves. It's a heritage site. There's graded buildings there, the walls, which the ground will be in. So there's obviously a constraint in terms of size and how we can design it. But if you can future-proof those stands, which they are doing, to encompass rail seating, then that ability, people are hearing 52, like I did, and just went, 52? Whereas if there is that little change to the rule, and all of a sudden day one is, because we're talking 4 years away, 5 years away really, 2023 we're talking, August 2023, 5 years a long time. So it needs to be obviously within about 18 months when they're building the thing. If that law's changed, and then that gives us rail standing with a ratio of 1.5 or 1.15, whatever it is, all of a sudden that capacity can be bounced up. We might hit 56, 57,000 on day one.
Colin Longmore says, bar humbug, too small. Why? We surely need at least 55,000, but should have been 61,878. I just seen Alan Myers put something out on Twitter, actually. I think it was a graphic that maybe Sky are using. And it shows that with this ground, I think we'd have the 8th highest capacity in the Premier League. And that's the problem, isn't it? Those images go round and automatically it's like you've got no ambition.
Where would you be at 62? So United are 70.
Above Liverpool, it would be above Newcastle. I think it would be above Man City. So it would.
So you'd be in the top 5, wouldn't you?
Yeah.
Above Spurs as well.
Yeah.
And above Arsenal.
Terry Sadler says, for me, 55,000 more than enough. Is it really more than enough? Lou Howard says, by then hopefully we'll have a striker and some more depth who we can get next month. I don't know how that relates to filling the stadium.
Well, I think he's probably saying, let's not lose sight of what we're actually here for, which is to win football matches, not have a
Mikey Maguire says it's a start, lad. Loving the use of the lad.
Not lads?
No, don't count.
Okay.
Steve Robinson says 52,000 shows a massive lack of ambition, because that's the takeaway, isn't it? That's the headline. That's the big headline. 52,000. No one's going to be going, as much as Everton try and push it, well, it can go up to 62,000. People want 62,000 and it can go to 70,000. That's what people want, isn't it? In their minds and in the fantasy world of Everton, that's what people actually want.
Well, it's a dick measuring contest, isn't it?
We are live on Facebook at 20 to 6, Baz.
Okay,
you know what I mean?
A Richard measuring contest. Listen, like I've said at the very start, I'm disappointed there in 52. I am. You can't get away from that. Would I have been disappointed with 55? Probably, because we wanted above 60. But there's a lot of factors go into it quite clearly. We said before on the reaction video, we've got 32,000 season ticket holders at the moment. We've got 10,000 on the waiting list. How much of that waiting list take that up, though? Realistically, a 10,000 on that waiting list all going to buy a season ticket? No. Right? But if it say...
Well, why are we... Can I just come in here? Why are we so... We're so hung up about this season ticket thing? Surely, right? Well, no, you can pull faces all you want, but how many season ticket holders does Liverpool got?
About 35.
Less than Everton.
Or less than Everton. In fact, they've got less than Everton, yeah.
Right. Shouldn't you be trying to sell tickets to... How many people... I'd like to know how many people are in that Everton club thing.
Evertonia.
Right, or whatever it's called. It keeps on changing its name. I want to know how many people are in that. How many of them would buy tickets, not a
hang on.
No, hang on. Whoa. You throwing the expletives in. I'm bringing it back down.
There's no expletives, said Richard.
What about people who don't buy season tickets? What about people who buy tickets on a weekly because that's what they can afford? Or what about these things that we are going to get if we build a new stadium? The dreaded word, day trippers. Because they will come.
Right, okay. But what I'm saying to you is, I'm trying to say to you, if say 8,000 of the 10,000 on the waiting list bought the season tickets, right, and the 32,000 that have got them now kept them, that's 40,000 out of 52,000. 3,000 away fans, hang on. Yeah. 43,000. There's still 9,000 tickets to
That's what I want to know. I want to know how many Everton fans out there, right, are buying tickets off StubHub or buying tickets through...
It's irrelevant, because we can still only get 39,400 in the ground.
No, what I'm talking about is we know it's about waiting list, but I'd love to know the numbers on walk-ups and things like that, because they add to a new ground.
Okay, the numbers on walk-ups quite clearly are 4,000.
No. What I'm saying is, I want to know how many people are prepared to just buy a ticket.
You might have loads,
we're
but
consumed. No, but we're consumed by this number of season ticket and people on waiting list. People can't all afford to buy season tickets.
Right, so
surely that would bump the number up if we knew what.
So if you built a stadium, so you'd build a 65,000 seater stadium, right? And I'm playing devil's advocate now. Yeah, on the off chance that we might sell it once every 3 years, because that on that one day we might get 65,000. That's not how businesses work. Me and you were watching a documentary about Sunderland, how easily it can go.
I would just like to know. I think people get consumed by these numbers. I'd just like to know what the other numbers are. I'm not advocating for anything. I don't know it's a leap of faith, whatever you do. If Everton could suddenly look at Man City are having to bolt on parts of their ground all the time. Man United have had to do that.
But why are they bolting it on when it doesn't seem like it sells out now?
Because the reason is because they're trying to sell the posh seats more. Because to them it doesn't matter. Why you could sell two tickets at £20 and sell one for £42. They want that £42 ticket or whatever. Do you know what I mean? They want the away fans in the gods, because.
Okay, would you say 62,000 is enough for Everton?
I'd say right now that would be enough for me.
What do you think realistically now, if Everton continue on this trend or get marginally better, what do you think realistically would be Everton's average gate?
I think we could pull in.
If we got a little bit better.
I think we could pull in probably about 55.
Really?
Yeah. But this is
I don't.
Oh, I did. But this is a stadium that's got to be around for 100 years. And football, the trajectory of football is going up, but of course it goes up and down. You know, but what's weird about football at the moment is it doesn't quite seem to match the environment.
But it will eventually, because if listen, if the current trend in the country continues, people won't be able to afford to go to match.
Well, it depends, doesn't it? Because it depends how football reacts to that and where they get their money from. Football is now massively. It uses obviously TV revenue and sponsor revenue, which all seems to be gambling and things like that. So it depends, doesn't it? Really, is it? And also, it all depends on how much those extra seats cost as well. I think that's a massive thing. The club might turn around and say, well, you might have 10,000 seats that you may or may not sell.
And you're shutting parts of the stadium.
It's what those seats are worth to you, isn't it?
Yeah, obviously, listen, they've got experts who know more than me and you do. I'm just projecting. Well, maybe they don't. I'm just projecting what could happen. I was, when I was a young boy in the 80s, 10, 11, 12, and Everton were winning leagues, right? The average attendance was like 34,000.
Oh, yeah.
And we were smashing everyone. And yet we did get Bayern Munich. I was there. We got 55 to 54,000, 54 in the derby, 54 for the odd game. When we beat QPR to win the league the first time, 50-odd thousand there. But there was also 31,000 there and 30,000 there in normal games.
Well, of course, and that's why the club is so reliant on season tickets, because you might get a game where your season ticket holders don't turn up, but they've bought the seat, so it's classed as sold. Let's just get through some more of these comments. Steve Robinson says, they told us 25 years ago there was potential to expand the park end, and we all know how that panned out.
Peter Johnson, mate. Next.
Paul Musto says, eighth biggest capacity, ambition, really, ? Tom McBride says, 52 is a good number with 10,000 waiting lists. It will be sold out every week.
Maybe.
Lou Harwood says, I would love a bigger version of Goodison. Steve Quayle says, it's absolutely the right choice right now. The fact is the capacity to go to 62,000 goes to show the club feel the demand will come, and it will. Don't want an atmosphere like the Etihad. Steve Robinson says, no ambition whatsoever. Danny Morgan says, I think a lot of the fans just want it to be more than Anfield, to be honest. 52 is to start with it is enough. To be honest, I've said for ages I'm not bothered what the attendance is at Anfield, because I just get the feeling that if we were higher than Anfield, they just increase it.
Yeah, but for a lot of people, they just want it bigger than Anfield.
Yeah, of course.
They're not even bothered about what it looks like.
It isn't Richard measuring competition.
Exactly. There you go.
It's
you know what, right?
Christopher Duncan says, think about it this way: Arsenal, Tottenham, West Ham, and Man City are all around 60,000. Planning rules make it difficult to get bigger. Mark Hughes says, good starting point, but it's good that they are looking at the bigger picture, with the potential to go 62,000. William McGuinness says, look at the Etihad, they always have empty seats, and Man City the best team in the league. Barry Ward says, no ambition at all from the club to take us forward and build for a good future. We was going to build 55 at the King's Dock 1996, so why are we going backwards? Gary Davis, we would not sell out 60,000. Rob Morgan, a little underwhelming, but gives us room to grow. Roy Jones says, what the... Terry Henderson, irrespective of capacity, 52,000 will have the facility to extend to 65 without much cost. Gary Davis says, depends on ticket prices. Of course it does. I mean, that's actually a really good point, because we're all sitting here talking about what we could get and what we couldn't get. But it does depend on ticket prices. Everton sell out because the ticket prices are quite reasonable. So
they'll increase when we go to new stadium, they will. There's no question about it, they'll increase. So that's Liverpool's increase just by building, putting the Al Hole punch there. So they'll increase, and then there's the people's wages increase the same. No. You have to look at it. I've said this before, excuse me. I've said this before about, the owner of Orlando City, and I was talking to him when they were playing at the Citrus Bowl, and for a few games they were getting 63,000. They also, their average attendance for the first couple of years was like 44,000. They built a stadium for 25,000, and I asked them why, and he said, so that it's sold out every week.
That's their business plan, especially in America, and especially a lot of sporting events in America, is keep the attendance down so you can keep the ticket prices high, keep the demand, make it the hottest ticket in town. I don't think we've got the scope to do that.
We haven't, but what I'm saying is they jumped down. Their attendance dropped almost 40,000 people with their own stadium.
Ed Armitage says, impossible to know exactly how this will pan out. Massively for faith for our club, projecting 5 to 10 years down the line is a guess, so no obvious answer. Darren Carter says, hi guys, keep up the good work. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas to you, Darren.
Merry Christmas, Darren.
Kane says, the same people buzz off how Juventus Stadium looks are the ones who are moaning about the capacity. Imagine a boss ground on the dock, steep stands right by the pitch to generate atmosphere. We'll still have the best ground on the land by location. Swerve the capacity even if it reaches 62,000. No, Kane, you know what? I was talking about this yesterday about Juventus's ground. Funny enough, I was at a meeting and they were talking about how big the ground had to be, and I said, you know what Juventus's is? And no one knew. I said, it's 42,000 and it's Bosch. Now, I don't want it to be 42,000, but we've done a video on this talking about the capacity, and my point was, if you had to have 55,000 and it was an amazing atmosphere and we all loved it, and you could have 62,000 and everyone was like, it's dead in here, it's soulless. Even if you sold it out, it was soulless and it was dead, and it like you were miles from the pitch. Which would you rather have? I'd rather have 55 with an amazing atmosphere, or something that created amazing atmosphere. I'd rather have that than 62,000. I've said that all along.
I asked you before, would you rather have 39.5 at Gooders, not 52 at Bramley Moor? Because anyone who said, I understand if it was 45,000 going, what's the point? I'd be right there with what's the point. But going from 39,000 to 52,000 is a big jump anyway. Isn't it? It's design, and we can go to 62 with the rail seating. Imagine if this law gets changed and the rail seating comes in, the atmosphere, people just want to be in it. The atmosphere is going to be incredible.
All the lids would get this standing.
And it's going to be amazing. And they make the noise. That's why when you go away, no one stops singing. People come to Gooders, because that's there. And That's what it's about.
There'll be balloons everywhere. Jason King says if West Ham can sell out 55,000, so can we.
Didn't it come out West Ham's average last year was 33,000?
Agent Taney's also put West Ham have applied to increase to 60,000, and that is a crap stadium for fans as they sit far from the action. And don't forget, West Ham don't own their stadium, and it cost them buttons to.
Listen, I understand everyone's initial reaction going 52. It seems low, and it does. If it was 52 and that was right?
Yeah.
Then I'd accept everything that people are saying.
I think what the club have done again though is they've shot themselves in the foot. I think a little bit here because they've given us half the information in a way. They've said it can go to 62,000 and been very sort of just a little bit. Not really give us too much information how that can happen. I think.
What about this, right? What about if the club are playing a blinder?
Well, we don't know,
right?
do we?
No, we don't. So the club might be saying, bear with, the club might be saying, our plans generally are to build a 52,000 seater stadium with the capacity, future-proof, with the capacity that could go up to 62. But we're at this moment in time, to the planners, and to the UNESCO site and all that, we're just planning 52 because we've never had that amount of people in that area. We've got new transport links, blah, blah, blah. That might be able to get through planning permission quicker and easier than saying we want a 60,000 plus stadium that pushes the boundaries of that grade, 2 listed wall and all of that. I don't know. I'm just guessing. Maybe that's all part of it as well, is that if you plan for that, you can nudge that up if there's a change in the law. I'm quite satisfied, right, that Everton are building a stadium with 2 areas that potentially, are going to have rail seating in, it looks like, right? And the only kind of question mark is what the ratio is in that rail seating. And if that rail seating ratio changes, and it will, because everyone will be pushing for this, if that ratio, Tottenham have got rail seating in theirs, haven't they? They've got the ability to have them. So if that changes slightly and that pushes our capacity up immediately and makes this argument almost
unfortunately
null and void.
Today, the only number people will focus on, rightly or wrongly, is 52,000.
That's fine.
Declan Furlong makes a good point. Let's just get it built. Paul Musto says...
Let me ask the question, sorry, before you tell me what Paul says. What would you rather have? 52,000 and a competitive team trying to win stuff and being up there in the mix, or 62,000 and a 8th and 9th place team? Because at the end of the day, we don't go in and go, look at this state. After you've been to Bramley Moor half a dozen times, you're gonna stop seeing what it looks like as a stadium. You just focus on the pitch.
Paul Musto says, did they really consider fans from the recent consultation? Don't know anyone who put forward 52,000. What did you guys put forward? To be honest, I didn't put anything forward because, and I've said this loads of times, I'm not an architect. I don't know how to build a football stadium. I don't know what the parameters are for the stadium. So I honestly leave that to Dan Mice. Otherwise, it looked like Homer's car.
I put 60,000 plus on mine. That was what I put.
There you go. I didn't put anything.
That's fine.
I just didn't see
the lad just asked us a question.
I just didn't see the point.
That's fine. But he just asked us a question. I've answered. I put 60,000 plus because I thought, and we might get that, might we? We've got the capability to get it. When the worrying thing for me, like I texted my brother before and said it's 52,000 to start, and he just put shite, and then I went, yeah, but it can go to 62. And you're like, all right, okay then. All right, well, that's a bit better.
This is what I'm saying. It's how you get the information across to people, isn't it? Kane, again, says, went to the Etihad last week. That was soulless.
Yeah.
We just keep it low and the atmosphere will sort itself out, especially with the standing area. Swerve the empty seats, it's going to be boss.
Kane, spot on. Absolutely spot on.
Adrian Taney says, more money in London to allow West Ham to fill their stadium. Many more tourists as well. Listen, let's just forget about West Ham Stadium. Number one, they got it for nothing. We're paying for it, right?
Number two, it's horrendous.
It's horrendous.
And it'll never get better.
And this is what I'm talking about. Why? That could be 90,000. Yeah. They could sell it out every week, and I'd still not want to go there.
No,
it's not a football
never,
stadium.
ever going to get any better. It's crap. It's an athletic stadium. It's rubbish.
Christopher Duncan says planning application has not even been submitted, and the statement said plans are subject to change. Edward Carew says less ambition than West Ham and Newcastle. Well, to be honest,
Well,
West
it's going to
Ham
be bigger than Newcastle for a start.
Honestly, it's not. It's going to be lower. It's a little bit lower.
What's Newcastle's?
52-7-0-0.
With nothing, with no scope. So the minute we do rail sheeting, it's 58.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
Don't worry about Newcastle. They've got no ambition.
Also about West Ham. Honestly, stop worrying about them.
Don't worry about everyone.
Would you want their ground? That's what you got to ask yourself.
West Ham fans, real West Ham fans, don't want their ground. They want the Berlin
Sean
ground.
Swan says 52,000, increasing if the demand is there, makes sense. Matt Davis says, happy to leave this in the safe professional hands at the club and Dan Mice. Michael Robinson, obviously
ex-Liverpool.
Yeah.
And I think he's an agent as well, isn't he?
39,000, 60,000 is too much too soon. Yes, we have a big fan base, but 52,000 is a good move, especially expanding up to 62. The ground is going to cost Brewsties. We need to take a step back and see the bigger picture. As long as it doesn't look like a big lean to stapler.
Yeah.
One thing I would say is as well, right, and we've mentioned it a couple of times, and like, obviously we've got Liverpool fans who work in here, and they were all like buzzing around when the news came out. And we presented to the news with them backwards. We said, yeah, it's 50, it's 62, it's 62. It's gonna, one standing sort, it's gonna be 62. And they were like, are you gonna fill that? Like, but if we'd started by saying it's 52 with the, and we can go up to 62, they would have gone, so 52, what's that? You can't win. If you make this out to be a Richard measuring competition, you can't win either way. If you say 62, they'll tell you we can't fill it. If you say 52, they'll laugh at you and go, only 52, we get X amount of iPads more a week. So stop worrying about it like that. Stop worrying about what they think, because you'll never, ever, ever, ever win. Because if we go, it's 56, the next day they'll say, we're having a 57.
I'm asked about them. The biggest
people do though.
No, but doesn't bother me if they have 90,000. What bothers me is that we're better. We start winning things and we get a better team than them. That's all I'm bothered about.
Joe O'Reilly says stadium capacity won't and shouldn't affect team performance, in my opinion. Baz, it's two of us here, Joe. God's sake.
In what way, Joe?
I'd have gone 60,000 and this would rule out further building work. Paul Max says 52,000 is a good starting point. Happy Christmas to you both. Happy Christmas, Paul. Davey Heaton says 52,000 is very sensible for now. Man City can increase capacity and really full with a competitive team. 62 only if prices are kept down. Yep. Matthew Thompson says a bit disappointed with the stadium capacity, but I suppose it makes sense to start with 52,000, which could rise to 62. If we have on-pitch success in the very near future, it will be increased very quickly.
Yeah.
It's a sensible decision, really, to start with. But first, let's see it built first. Joe O'Keefe says West Ham is a bigger team than Everton.
It's not even...
I mean, did you pull a cracker and was that the joke in the middle, Joe? Merry Christmas,
Joe,
mate.
Merry Christmas, but not in any universe at any time, nor in a million years going
not in
forward.
Another universe?
Will West Ham ever even be on the same page as Everton? But have a good Christmas. They are big in Liverpool, though. Miles bigger than Liverpool.
Gary Davis says, imagine 18,000 fans in a 60,000 stadium when we play Barnsley in the Cup. You can't think like that. Why are people...
Be good.
Why are people showing no...
You'll have the choice of your seats.
Why are people saying we're showing no ambition?
Don't know.
Juventus just built a stadium to only 40-odd thousand, but bought Ronaldo. They are not showing ambition. No, I agree with the Ronaldo, the Juventus point. It's slightly different because they're a world leader on the pitch and off the pitch. And they were getting terrible. They moved to the stadium because obviously they were getting terrible attendances at their last stadium, which was just a soulless bowl. On things like the Cup, I think what we've got to be very clever with, you're right, Gary, on what you're saying about the Cup. If we only get 25,000 in a 60. Listen, Spurs had 30-odd thousand the other week, didn't he?
33,000
in a Premier League game at Wembley. I think what you've got to do there is be very clever and say, especially for a cup game,
Liverpool have had 25,000 at Anfield.
No, I know, but what I'm saying is, for something like that, you've got to be clever and say, well, I'll tell you what we'll do is, we'll only open up the first 2 tiers.
Depends how it's built.
No, I know. That's what I'm saying. And maybe leave. We were talking about Atlanta in MLS. Oh, don't start in the comments with West Ham baiting. God, couldn't cope with that. Let's keep the comments coming on.
I've already argued with the West Ham.
Just don't.
They're nearly as big as Southampton, West Ham. Nearly.
We were talking about Atlanta in the MLS. MLS, not the MLS. They moved into the American football ground, the Mercedes-Benz Stadium. It's an amazing stadium.
Atlanta Falcons.
They were only expecting to get... They're a new team. They were expecting to get maybe 35, maybe 50 at a push. And the way their stadium is built, it's round, and it has this video screen all the way round, and then there's another tier above it. And they were like, "Oh, we'll just shut that tier down, blacken it out, and no one will see it." And their demand has reached. They're getting 75,000 every week. But they had initial idea, and they do this in a lot of MLS grounds that play in American football grounds. Is they'll just block a tier out at the top and blacken it off. Cameras never go up there anyway, and I think that's an idea we could do for. I think Wembley have done it, haven't they? Wembley have done it for
a cup game. It's easier because obviously.
Yeah. Well, no, you wouldn't expect to do that in the Premier League because people don't want their seats all over. But for a league game, and as I say,
and obviously if you keep the cup prices, I think the Lincoln game's like 15 and 15 for me. My lads is 5. My dad's is 10. So. You've got them concession prices. People, and people can afford it. They'll go, and it might be the opportunity in them games for other people to go who can't get there because it's more expensive for the league. I don't know. You're never going to know. But at the end of the day, don't give me the no ambition shout because I'm just not having it. No ambition. Farhad Moshiri's put £250 million into the club already. We've bought players. We've broke our transfer record so many times. We've got a manager, a director of football who we've paid a lot of money to get. We're building a new stadium on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey. The no ambition shout could run circa 1987 to 2016 quite easily. Not now. If you're throwing that around now, then you're either very new to football or you just slept for 20 odd years. Because there was years that Everton didn't show ambition. We didn't show ambition when we were at our very best. In my lifetime, if I'm honest, the late 80s, when we were dominating or certainly in the mix, we didn't show ambition. 300 grand, Alan Shearer, we wouldn't pay it. That's no ambition. Not whether we get 52,000 or 55,000. And the real number here is 62,000, isn't it? Let's make it that Everton, the club will be proven right or wrong by the supporters. Quite simply, won't it? That at the end of the day, it's up to us to prove them wrong as fans.
Dave Walker says it's been dragged out too long. Just need to start going up now. And
I think it will now, Dave.
I think what you've seen, obviously, haven't we in the last few?
In last month. Beer on the phone. Can't really drink a beer, can I?
You can't drink. No, you can't. No.
I always want to drink. This is going to come off.
Get some water.
I am trying to get it. Carry on. Sorry.
We've seen it move forward, haven't we, in the last month? Now we've got a capacity. The next thing we want is obviously...
we need some images.
I
think once the images come out, it makes it that little bit real. But listen, if you're a Blue Nose and you sat there still and ahhing about this, look at the steps that have been taken on this. Someone mentioned King's Dock before, and the capacity was allegedly 50, it's going to be 55,000. The best we got out of that was a fancy drawing.
Yeah.
End of. Kirby was 52,000. And the main reason why people didn't really want to go there, it wasn't because it was 52, it was because it wasn't in the city. And it looked like a friggin' Lego building. This one is everything we've wanted. It's in the city, it's in the heart of the city, it's on the banks of the Royal Blue Mersey. It's going to be 50,000 plus, can go to 62,000. It's going to have rail seating. We're going to get a noisy, hostile section of Evertonians. We're going to have steep stands, intimidating, purpose-built football stadium.
Right, Matthew Barry says 52 is fine, increase the capacity with success on the field. Bryn Robert says would have gone for 55 to start going to 60. Joe, good point. When Dublin play at Croke Park, which is 82 seater in the latter stages, They only open up the bottom tier. Lee Gray says gutted. Roy says nice one, Baz, talking sense. What else have we got?
I just think we all want the same thing at the end of the day. We want a big stadium full and we want to watch Everton winning football matches.
But in Robert says I was going to Goodison when it was 66,000 there.
See, there you go. But times have changed, but haven't they? Because you were probably there the same as me when we got friggin' 8,000 for Coventry and 4,000 in the Screen Sport game against Norwich.
Graham Cass says, I don't think you are more ambitious with 62,000 than 52,000. Most fans couldn't tell the difference when they're there. We need to be successful. That's more important. And that's why I said show the pictures first.
Spot on, Dad.
You've been texting him, so back me up with that. Gary Holmes says 52,000 is too small to start. Dave Walker says, best thing is, the first thing you see will be the new blue lady taking pride of place. Bryn Roberts says, thinks the rail stands will be behind the 2 goal stands. Well, hopefully they will be. Yeah, there you have it. The news is out. 52 rising to 62. Big thanks for everyone watching. Big thanks if you got in touch with us in the comments and had your say. There's a video on YouTube as well if you want to check that out. Thanks for watching.